check. I put the parking brake on because the parking brake is not working in this car. Apparently it's going back to be fixed. My car has gone back to be fixed. Now Lee's car needs to go back to be fixed. I'm using Lee's car today because I don't want to be driving any unnecessary miles in my mom's car. So that's what I'm doing. I'm also very, very aware that it is not obvious that, like, I've put you on the, I must also remember, because it's not my car, I must also remember to clean the, whatever this is called, rearview mirror when I get out of the car. Lee's such a stickler for, like, little, like, if I left things in a different setting, his head would pop off when he gets in his car tomorrow. Just silent seething is what it would be. But I must remember because it leaves like little suction marks all over the glass. But all that is to say, I've got you on the rearview mirror and it's not obvious that I'm talking to a camera. I could definitely just be talking to I'm just effectively just talking to the windscreen of the car while I wait outside football. Also, I've been really good last couple of weeks. I've been reading my book, but it's so light. It's so light. I bought this book. Hi, Rebecca. I bought this book and I bought this little light, which is fantastic. It's like a little, you know, you understand, a book light. And obviously it's supposed to go onto the book, but I've been putting it on this. Genius. I also have been like putting it on like the pillow behind me when I'm in bed rather than on the book because it's just a little bit like heavy. So I'll put it like this. And that's a way better light for reading than having to have it on the book, you know? I'm also using it as a bookmark. I haven't got very far. I'm only on chapter 8. But give me a break. I haven't read a book in 10 years. It did occur to me when I bought that book that oh, Lee's asking me if I want anything from the shop. Anything sweet from the shop. I'm just gonna try and get it to him telepathically. Get me some Mars bars. Get me some Mars bars. Because I don't want to stop the live just to tell him that. Yeah, it did occur to me when I bought that book that I have not read a physical book since I discovered audiobooks, which was more than 10 years ago now. The last physical book I read was Yes Please by Amy Poehler. I remember I was taking it everywhere. I was on the train. I was frequenting London at the time. I used to read while I was walking to work. And then I found audiobooks through, she said in that book, if you know, there's an audio version of that book. I was like, what do you mean there's an audio version? I want to hear Amy Poehler speak these words. Never looked back. But I do feel like I'm missing something. And so I am trying to read a physical book. It's harder going than I remember. It is. I can also see the very almost full moon from where I am, which coincides with a new candle launch this week. It's very, I think it's a full moon on Friday, if anyone's into that kind of thing. I was actually, just as Milo got out of the car, I was feeling a little bit woo-woo. I didn't get my car back yet, Deborah, I didn't. Hopefully next week, but it's a bit of a pain to get to, so I'm gonna have to wait till the weekend because now there's like 3 cars in the mix. There's obviously my car that needs to be collected. There's my mom's car that I borrowed, and there's Lee who will take me. Oh, I suppose that's stupid. He will take me in my mom's car. Because I was like, how are we going to do this? There's so many cars. So many cars. No, of course. Maybe we'll drive to my mom's house, leave his car there. No, that doesn't make sense. I'm not good with these things. It's like a puzzle. I was looking at new puzzle games that come out soon because I just want to like try some different genres of games. And there's this game, I think it's called Can I Sit Here? Something like that. And it reminds me so much of a game that I used to play when I was at school. And I don't know if it was a school game. It feels like it was an educational game because it was a bit of a process of elimination. And it's like one of the examples was in a cinema. Someone would say, I want to sit next to someone who has popcorn because they want to steal that person's popcorn. I want to sit away from someone who's wearing this, that kind of thing. all that is to say. Puzzle games. What a tangent. What a tangent. It's still light. I know. I can't believe it. That's why when I sat in the car and I was going to read my book, I was like, I feel like we'll just do a half an hour. We'll just do a quick little chat, quick little half an hour on live. And then I'll read for half an hour. That seems like reasonable. Soon it's just going to be like full on outdoor training. Oh, when we first started football, we as a family, when we first started football, I would do Tuesday nights and I was pretty all in on like, let's do Tuesday night lives. This is great. And then it changed. But Tuesday nights, it was getting to be like golden hour. The light was fantastic. And then all of a sudden it was winter. I was never a summer person, but it's happening. It's happening. Full blood moon. So it should be a red moon on Friday. That's exciting. Imagining you, Lee, and cars on the opposite side of the river like that puzzle. Oh, do you know what? I love puzzles like that. Also, I'm so itchy because I'm wearing a hat, but it is still cold enough to feel like I want to be wrapped up when I'm sitting in the car for this long. Also, I think the car is on. Is the car? Okay, I'm going to turn the car back on and you can tell me whether or not you can hear me. Can you hear me now? Can you hear me now? I'm going to mute and unmute myself. Sound's back. Okay, so you need the car. That's interesting. That is very interesting. So I'm obviously using the microphone of the car to speak to you. How is the sound? How is the sound? Is it better than it usually is? Oh, I'm hyper aware that there's like a group of 8 parents over there that again now will probably think I'm talking to myself in the car. I think it's worse than just, it sounds really good, clear and crisp. Of all of the electrical faults it's got at the moment, the microphone in this car turns out absolute perfection. If that's true, as long as he's got this car because he's looking at getting something different, I might pinch it for lives. I might always take Milo to football in here. It's also much more nice, you know. It's much more comfortable than my car. It's fancy. It's fancy. But he's looking at a Tesla, and for all the reasons that you wouldn't want a Tesla, I'm like, ugh. But the money that you save as a company car, getting a Tesla is absolutely insane. It's like a family holiday a year's worth of tax that you save. It makes it difficult to make any other choice, really. Although he's looking at loads of different things, I'm like, I feel like ultimately that's going to be the choice that you make, purely because on paper this is makes the most sense. Someone at work got a Tesla recently, and everyone was losing their mind, like how nice it was, you know. Oh wow, you know, really, really expensive. And I see it as company car. Because everyone I know that's got a company car has got a Tesla. Because it's like a bit of a tax, not a tax fiddle, but you know, you get a major tax break getting an all-electric car, and specifically, I don't know what it is about a Tesla, but it's the best one for tax. Okay, excellent. Everyone's got sound back. Make him test the mic on his new one. Yeah, that's a great idea. That is something. If he does a test drive, maybe we'll... Oh my God! Oh my God! I've just thought of a funny YouTube series. We could test drive random cars and just test out what the sound is like on the microphones. We could just do lives. I think they probably get wise to me pretty quickly if I just go like place to place every week and test drive a new car on a Wednesday night. But we could do it. We could do it. Also, yeah, I'd seen that too about them stopping the tax break on electric cars, but I'm not sure whether or not it's a situation of you've only got this year left, or when you enter into a contract of a lease. I don't know what the deal is, but it's still going to be a benefit. I think it might just be less of a benefit after the next 12 months. Sounds like a video series idea to me. I think so, Pam. I do. I feel like that could be actually quite funny. We should do car reviews, but only review the things that no one else is interested in. Like, how much space is in the glove box? I tell you one thing that I'm interested in, the size of the cup holders. Lee's cup holders are so much bigger than mine. This doesn't fit in my car cup holder. This fits in his smallest cup holder, and it rattles around in his biggest cup holder. What in the world? Get Karen to come along sometimes and do carpool karaoke. Yes. Do you know what? I did karaoke completely sober on Friday night. I don't know what I was thinking. I thought I would be totally cool with it. I mean, I do know what I was thinking. I wanted to do karaoke. But I thought I was totally chill. Like, I could do karaoke sober. It's no big deal. I was quite excited about it. Wrote down my song. Went up. And now, in fairness, at the last minute, I did have to change the song because they didn't have the song that I wanted. So maybe that was part of it. But I got there, and all of a sudden, I was acutely aware of how sober I was. And I felt like I had a crowd, and I was so shaky. Usually, you know, you've got a little bit of lubrication in just like even one beer. A little bit of like, it'll be fine. Completely sober was quite something. But I also feel like that was another hurdle to jump, another hurdle to clear in my giving up alcohol journey, because I'm not going to never do karaoke again. That would be crazy. And it was with work people as well. But then I always try to remember, even though you're sober, they're not sober. And we'd been in town for a while. So maybe their recollection of it is a little bit hazier than mine. That's the way I'm going to look at it anyway. It was definitely something. Also, I got an email today that I have an interview for a job next week. Not done an interview in so many years. Hoping I don't muck it up. Pam, sending you all the best vibes. That's what I was going to say. Just as Milo. Oh my God. You know, like when your parents and your grandparents were like, my grandma was like, Jane, Michael, Nathaniel, Michaela, Spike. She would do all the names before she got to the person. And it creeps up on you. Creeps up on you. I've called my son, my brother's name, so many times. And now it's starting to happen with Lee and Milo. I'm just like, they're interchangeable. Not even 40 yet. But when Milo got out of the car, I immediately got this. And maybe it was because like out the corner of my eye, even though I wasn't thinking about it, I could see the moon. It's like peeking at me through the trees. Very clear tonight. And I just kind of had a vibe of like, a little bit of manifesting. Haven't done it in a while. Feeling a little bit skeptical. Feeling a little bit like, don't love it. But also got a bit of a, maybe put some wishes in. So full moon on Friday. Here's how I'm thinking of it, Pam. It doesn't do you any harm. It might help your confidence. It might, if it works, It's a little bit like there are people who believe in God and go to church and do all the things, and they're still a little bit skeptical, and they are of the mind that they would rather find out that they were wrong and they've lived by his teachings, this nonsense book, for all of these years than the other way around. I can kind of get on board with that with a little bit of manifesting. Not fully living your life by it, but I do feel if it works, I'm creating a moon worshipping cult. Yeah, you see, I've been there. I have had moments that have felt so magical that I've like fallen well down the rabbit hole. But I'm a little bit distanced from that now, and I'm like, no, come on, let's be realistic. I've achieved a lot of things, and nothing was just here it is. But I do think I've had some strange luck over the years, and some of it's inexplicable, and some of it has felt very manifesting. So when I'm a little moon, oh my God, I can't see it anymore. It's literally gone. It must have gone behind a cloud, but it's completely gone. That's spooky. Spooky. You can hear us talking about it. So yeah, everyone put your wishes in on Friday. Write something down. Write loads of things down. Write some things down that you want. They say write it in the first, like, write it in the like context of, or in the tense that you have it already. I have an amazing new job, that kind of thing. I don't know. I don't like that. I like wishes. This is what I would like. This is what I would like. This is what I would like. Take it outside, put it in an old candle jar and set fire to it. Under the light of the moon, cast your wishes. I don't know. I don't think it does anything bad. I do think that it can do something bad. I think that manifesting, I listened to a manifesting podcast for a long, long time. And then something snapped at me one day when they talked a lot about infertility. And it started to make me really angry because the person who was talking about it has never suffered with infertility. And I just thought, this is not all right. It's kind of up there with me, or for me, with like preying on people who've lost children or lost family members. And I don't know, when there's the potential for you to be making money through something, and you are telling someone if they buy a baby grow and put it under the Christmas tree, this time next year they'll have a baby. I can't get on board with that. That feels exploitative of someone's vulnerabilities, and I don't like it. And I think it was probably that made me pull away from the whole manifesting thing. But I do like to, I see it like because the car turned itself off. I'll turn it back on again to be safe. Right, we're just going to do 10 more minutes because, you know, I've said before, I'm nervous of like running down electrics. Well, even more so. Even more so in an electric car. And it's not mine, so let's not do that. Let's not do that. But yeah, I think of it as like a buffet of mystical things, and you just pick the good stuff. Pick the positive things and leave the negative things. I was going to say something and I can't remember what it was. But I'm going to put my wishes in for you, Pam. I'm going to send you all of the positive woo-woo vibes for your job interview. That must be so nerve-wracking. I don't even know. It's been so long. I mean, the last time I had an interview for a job. Oh, no, that's not true. I was going to say it was when I worked at Urban Decay, because I never interviewed for the job I do now. It was like a real weird thing. That's not true. I did do an interview to apply for a management job at my place, and I didn't get it, obviously. That was awful. That was awful. And I remember thinking at the time, I never want to do this again. This is awful. Also, the whole thing of interviewing made me not want to change the job that I do. Which again, if you believe in manifesting, it's a limiting belief. That's why I didn't get it. I don't know. But I also would have had to work full time, and I would never get these hours back. So I'm glad that I didn't. Everything happens for a reason. Maybe it helps you focus your mind on the end goal. Yes, that's kind of how I see manifesting. But yeah, I'm desperately trying to remember what I was going to talk about, and I can't. Oh, the book I'm reading, which I'm going to be reading again in 6 minutes. We're just going to do a tiny bit more of this because we're losing the light in 2 weeks. Is it 2 weeks till the clocks go forward? Is it 2 weeks? When's Easter? I don't know. It's going to be a different story. It's going to be a different story. Milo's turning into an old man because when we come out for football on a Wednesday, he's like, it's so light. Do you remember when we came out in the winter and it was so dark? It's so funny. So when the clocks go forward, he's going to lose his shit. Like, oh my God, it's so light on a Wednesday. It's this time. It's so light. I don't think that usually kids are quite as aware, but because we've had this like thing and he knows that once it's light enough, he can train outside again, which is what he wants. I don't know, he's like a little old man. So the book that I bought to read is called Lightlark. It's from Alex Astor. I tried to choose something that was like a YA, an easy read. And I wanted something that was in the fantasy genre because the fantasy books that I have bought on Audible, I really haven't been able to get into them. And I think it's because it's read in somebody else's voice. Whereas, obviously, you're reading something in your head, you're reading it in your own voice. The only fantasy novel I would say I have read is Lindsay Kelk, Bell Witches. I really enjoyed that, but it didn't feel fantasy. It's like in this world, but there's magic. Whereas this is complete fantasy. They're on like floating islands. I've never seen Hunger Games, but I get the impression it's kind of got a Hunger Games vibe because it's like once every 100 years for 100 days, everyone comes together from all of these different communities and they all like battle. Yeah, I assume that that's something like the Hunger Games. I don't know, but I'm really enjoying it so far. And apparently it's part of a series, which was another thing I was looking for. Yeah, at the back it says the Lightlark Saga Book 2 is Nightbane. I also wanted books that would look nice on a shelf because I'm building myself a bit of a bookcase, a book area in our dining room snug that's all like cozy and dark. I want to make that into like a cute little book area. That's my plan. Oh, you've got an unchecked lottery ticket in your bag. Do you think you can manifest a win if you try really hard? Maybe, but I think that you should check it on Friday. That's all I'm saying. A book nook! Exactly, Tracy. Is it an actual lottery ticket? Because, like, is it a physical lottery ticket? I don't play the lottery ever. Lee plays the lottery all the time. He's convinced he's going to win the lottery. I just don't think I'm going to win the lottery. One of my things on my 40 things to do before I'm 40 is play the lottery. And when I wrote that on my list, a couple of people were like, you've never played the lottery? No, I have. I just don't. Because I don't think I'm going to win. But especially an actual lottery ticket. A physical ticket. Interesting. Wouldn't you have heard if someone had won? Isn't that a thing? Don't they say like, there's an unclaimed winner of this amount? I remember when it used to be an actual national lottery TV show. I remember when the national lottery started. Can you remember that? And there was a TV show and it all began. Do you remember? And everyone picked their numbers and you always had the same numbers. And if you didn't remember to do your ticket one week, oh my God, all hell broke loose because that would be the week that your numbers came up. And this is why you should always get a lucky dip. Although when I do play the lottery, I think I'm going to pick my numbers. But then will I have to play it all the time? No, I won't. I'm going to pick my numbers and then I'm going to try and forget what those numbers were just in case. But I do remember that. And I remember that it saying immediately they knew how many winners there were. You see yourself winning. The big launch with Noel Edmonds, yes. And Noel Edmonds reminded me of my dad when I was little. Quite a lot. They don't really look alike at all, but there was a quality. And he did have like a mustache and a beard, so like a little bit. Maybe he does look a little bit like my dad, but not like loads and loads. And I remember watching Noel's house party once. I don't know how old I was. I don't feel like I was young, but I remember there were dancers, and there were male dancers and there were female dancers, and they were like, you know, coming from the sides and then coming together and going off. And Noel came from the side and he didn't have a female dance partner, and I cried. Because he was exchangeable with my dad. So I always had a strange connection to Noel Edmonds. I feel like if I ever met him in person, is Noel Edmonds still alive? I don't know. I feel like he could be one of those people that died that was like a real shock. I haven't heard about him in a long time. Either way, let's say he's not dead at the moment. If I ever met him, I feel like he would feel like my dad. Do you know what I mean? Doesn't make sense, but I think it's true. Oh, he's still with us at the moment. Okay, that's great news. There's still a chance. There are certain people who I would be so sad if I don't get to speak to them in real life ever, because, you know, I speak to them in my head. Oh, didn't he do the jungle? I don't know. I don't follow the jungle, Tracy, but that does sound like something he would do. Cher, I've now been in the same room as Cher, which feels surreal. But I would like to touch her skin and speak to her. Bette Midler is also on that list. I don't think Noel would make the list, to be quite honest. I don't think so. But every now and then, someone on that list departs, and I'm reminded you don't have that much time left. I was watching Hacks yesterday. Hacks season 3 comes out. Hacks season 4 comes out soon. Hacks season 3 we had missed completely because it wasn't on Prime. It went to Sky. We don't have Sky anymore, so I found it on the dodgy website. So I was like binging season 3. It's fantastic, by the way. If you've never seen Hacks, I can't sell it to you well, I don't think. But basically, Jean Smart plays kind of like a character like Joan Rivers. She's like an aging comedian who had what's the word? A thing in Vegas, like a residency in Vegas, and she gets replaced by some like dance troupe, some like young hip thing, and she's kind of feeling a little bit like past it, and she looks for new writers, and this new writer comes in who's like super woke, hates her, and they really butt heads because Deborah, Jean Smart, is always saying things that are like not okay to say, and the other girl is like, oh my god, you can't say that. It's actually such clever writing, the way that they argue over why you can't, because the woke, I say woke, and you know, you hear what I'm saying, you know, I realize that I would never say woke, but I'm saying woke in the context of this. She is like, she is like super left-leaning. I mean, I'm super left-leaning, but I don't know what you would describe. Woke is probably, you know, woke by the way that people say woke. So looking for things to be angry about, basically. And then there's Jean Smart being like, but why can't I, and why can't I? It's very clever. Anyway, in season 3, there's a part where they're talking, and she says, it is always, you've always got like in your mind, I'm going to do this one day, I'm going to do this one day. And when you get to my age, she's kind of like late 60s, I want to say, one day is today. If you want to do something, you have to do it now, because if I don't do it now, I'm never going to do it. And that is what kind of comes to me when people who are on my list of like, I would love to meet them one day, die. You have that sense of one day isn't promised. One day is sometimes now or never, you know? Right, the light is leaving us completely, and I don't want to have to get lighting out to continue alive. But how exciting that it was light enough to do at least half of this. How fun. Right, not next Wednesday, but possibly the Tuesday after. When the clocks change and it goes back to Tuesday and Thursday, I think we're going to do a regular live again. I really enjoyed them, but it just hasn't really worked that well since it's been super dark, and Wednesdays aren't as good. I feel like more people were available on a Tuesday. It was just generally better. So yeah, hopefully we can rearrange and make it a more regular thing again. I did ask on Instagram earlier, whether or not people wanted, on Friday I'm going to film for Friday I'm going to film a what's in my bag. It's going to be either what's in my work bag or what's in my regular bag. And lots of people voted for what's in my work bag, but lots of people messaged me and said, can't we have both? So I think I'm just going to do both in one video. So that'll be on Friday. Otherwise, I hope you're all having a great week so far. Make your wishes for the full moon on Friday. Keep your eyes peeled for our new candle scent, which actually is share related. You did want both, Pam, yes. Well, I'm going to do both. I'm going to do both. Yeah, it is actually share related. Or can you guess what it's called? Can you guess? I'm sure you can. Our candle launch on Friday. Otherwise, yeah, thanks for watching. And I will get back to reading my book now. See you later, bye.